So this will be the narration video. Also, I was going to mention something else, and I really forgot. So this is why I wanted to also mention that I should really keep notes written down. If not for business purposes or real-life purposes, then for the channel's sake. But as we get to all items, and we are going to be working with rash decisions, because the other thing to mention, I'll mention after the timestamps, is that I updated my perm, because it was updated on the 10th, and I don't remember if I did. So, yeah, we're just setting that on. So, as I give a cough here, get it out of my system before the timestamp, and hopefully we'll get into Ithotu, rash decisions, random item stats, my chair creaking in the background, and Miku. So, but yeah, we'll narrate through the mystery proper this time, because I should have addressed 90% of all typos and whatnot. Charisma, knowledge, Takushi-san, strength, light check, and maybe a dexterity check. But the other side of this video is also going to be on basically this channel and me moving forward, because I'm not going to try and put so much on my plate. You've heard me, if you've been with this channel for more than 5 videos, you'll know I have a lot on my plate. And for anyone who hasn't, let me just state, I have a lot on my plate. So, and that is mostly due to myself. So I will need to address all of that, which we're getting to the point here. The point is that I can't make as much custom content. I'll probably work on it from here and there, because I do need a breather from time to time as we get into Vigil, Akamanto, Valentine's End, and Nails. Oh my goodness, 2 boss mysteries after Valentine's. But yeah, let's get into it. So, the vilified verbalism of vouching Valentines. You hear a rumor about, Miku hears a rumor about the school about a stalker who's been watching a certain female student for a while now, though that seems to be less of a danger than the few monsters she's heard about. She thinks such an individual shouldn't be ignored. You'll notice here that the description there makes it seem like you've been investigating mysteries, even though I'm telling you in real life, meta-wise, that you should be taking Valentine's first and Valentine's End after, but shrug, right? The student's name is Arika Fukuda. She regularly attends class, so no better place to start than to find her at school. So it's Fukuda, not Fukuda. I think that's also a valid last name in Japan, but I literally do. If you want to know how I'm doing Japanese research, it is essentially going to Japanese dictionaries and making sure that the names work out. I do have my own, oh my goodness, let's take care of this and speak while I go through the motions of police patrol and whatnot. Yeah, I do my own research just to make sure I'm relatively, not getting anything wrong. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not the most proficient in Japanese. I'll admit that immediately. We do start this with syringe, so we do have a weapon. It's not the best weapon, but so yeah, off we go. But Miku meets Yoshida-san in the hallway. It should be yeah, it should have been Yoshida, so I already got the name wrong. I have to change that typo again. But Arika Yoshida, are you also here to ask me questions? Her eyes glance away for a moment. I'll tell you the same thing I told everyone else. The stalker is real, but no one can find them. I don't even know if it's a woman or a man. Yeah, I think it was actually Arika Yoshida, not Fukuda. I'm going absolutely insane. Is that Ryosuke's last name? I'm going crazy. We'll find out. I don't get more, and neither does Miku, but Yoshida-san does open up. Look, I know you're looking into some serious things, so I'll at least give you what the stalker sent me. Maybe you can figure it out. I have no use for it anyway. She gives Miku a nod before walking away. And also, so you'll notice also whenever I mention Arika, I use her name. That's why I probably made the mix-up of her surname. So thank goodness I didn't public anything on Nexus Mods yet. But Miku, however, considers what the trinket is and what it could be, but nothing she looks for gets any results. The best thing she can find, the best thing you find, okay, yeah. It's because I switched the pronouns around when I'm narrating. Miku finds that it's some kind of relic with no other clues to go off on. She decides to ask around about the stalker instead. Which instead, you'll get a random, what seems to be like a more random enemy encounter. So in a strange encounter, Miku's looking for clues about the stalker when she notices the halls lack anyone walking nearby. In fact, she doesn't hear any signs of life at all. She stops, sure that something's wrong as the silence is interrupted. Around the corner, she sees someone take a step forward, but it doesn't take long to notice the groaning, bloody figure reaching out with an arm. Miku prepares for a fight, but she also feels the warm vibration from Arika-san's trinket. It should just be Arika, by the way. Another typo immediately on her body. Again, so you'll notice immediately as well, well, you may have noticed that I also tend to be a lot more critical towards myself, and that's not to say that I'm not critical against anything else, whether it's custom content in World of War, mods in other games, or just other games in general, but the reason why it seems like I'm harsher on I am harsher on myself than others is because I don't know the intent that others, whether they're developers, artists, writers, so on and so forth, may have when they are working on their work, which is why I cannot I'm not really willing to say anything because I don't know if it's Not related to what that door is a little crooked, by the way. I never saw that before, but I think it's because going back to the mystery for a moment, not a lot of artwork that used the school pool as its background in battles covers this part, so you're not likely to see this door or this clock, but because we can see it now, it's interesting to note that. And I'm not saying it's crooked, it's more just an observation than positive or negative, because the perspective, the reason why it's forgettable, if for no other reason than in horror atmosphere, is because the perspective on this in this room is kind of centered in the middle of where I'm clicking right now. So, or that's at least what I assume. But again, I don't know how. I think we're gonna also say, well, because I don't know who really made the background here. We'll just say Panstaz made it. I don't know if Panstaz had certain intentions making pieces of art, if he was practicing certain art methods, so on and so forth. But when I'm doing things on my own, like looking at this wounded toilet ghost, I can tell you for a fact that I put the toilet ghost face on the body of the mannequin. And so when I'm working on that and trying to make it an enemy, like you can see this little white pixel here, I am going to be a bit more critical on myself when I say there may be some extra pixels here in the middle between this toilet ghost's arm and her body, but hey. So, you'll also notice immediately, you may also ask that, Jordan, wasn't the toilet ghost wearing a schoolgirl uniform? I'll tell you right now, I might as well, but the intended implied lore is that Arika stabbed this toilet ghost, and that made her more corporeal, which doesn't translate to gameplay, because obviously this is a beast enemy, but it made her materialize in the school, but also kept her in kind of a ghostly form, if that makes any sense, which as I say it loud, it sounds like it doesn't make sense, but hey. And then, yeah, you'll notice this trinket doesn't work anymore. I mentioned that in the last episode. You notice that I think I removed the cost as well if it doesn't trigger as intended, so hey. But, also, that's right, we're on rash decisions, so I can't prepare attacks, but we can do anything else. So, I put too many attack boosts before the first attack, my mouse clicks in the background, and off we go. But yeah, the reason why I don't really say, and like, unless they're like obvious typos, like if you're writing something in English and you spell creep CREAP, then yeah, it's probably going to be a bit, I'm probably going to be, just call it out just to say it and at least make a mental note that I need to make sure that I don't make any typos. But the kind of typos were like messing up Arika's last name twice, then yeah, it's not as great. Yeah, he's a real creep, by the way. One student gives Miku some answers. It seems like he lives out far from the school, so it's hard to see him sometimes. I think he used to attend regularly, but he suddenly stopped. His friends said that he got sick or something. Maybe I should put school in between those words. But anywho, I think that's still grammatically correct in English, but again, I'm not for certain about that because I'm probably going to forget to look at them. Miku tries to search for the stalker in places where he was last seen downtown, but to no avail. Miku then decides to try and ask about the trinket, but she doesn't get any information on that either. Is there something she's missing? Probably, because that's why this mystery is in two parts. I haven't tried it yet, and I didn't get to check, but I'm pretty sure there's still a max on the number of investigations you can use in a perm mystery. But anywho, one occult collector manages to point Miku to a spot, and the reason why, let me just bring myself out to talk about that. The reason why I didn't do that is because I want the mystery to be compatible with people not playing with perm. So on that note, I also have to remember to also release this mystery on Discord. But anywho, one occult collector manages to point Miku to a spot in the forest where multiple sightings were found of cultists. She feels it's a long shot, but she might as well try. So a large reason why I made this mystery kind of just go through and it doesn't seem like there's as much, I guess, immersion in the mystery itself is because I did want to kind of make this mystery more standard in terms of things, mysteries like ramen, arms, even bulletin to an extent, because you are just searching the town and there are not a lot of linked events, as opposed to mysteries like nail, like even scissors. Even though scissors isn't downtown, what I'm trying to mention here is that there are events in those mysteries, like one or maybe more than one or two, that are related to the mystery. Again, nails has a lot of nail encounters in which those events are not generic encounters. They are specifically dealing with the boss. But anyway, after a lot of failed sightings and stakeouts, Miku suddenly spots Arika-san, it shouldn't be san, just say Arika, walking out of the village. Strange, Miku tries to follow where it is she came from while keeping an eye out for the stalker. So again, the reason why, so for those who don't know any Japanese, the reason why this is a mistake is because I'm trying to make a difference between when you're when the character is basically narrating, they're calling her Arika in their mind. Now you can call it, even if I wanted to use the san suffix, it should be the last name in san, like Yoshida or Fukuda-san, whatever last name I decide to use for Arika. But for English, like narration purposes, I'll just leave it as Arika. So That's the intent. But anyway, we look at this poison river, lose a strength check, and move on with our lives. Miku wanders around discreetly asking others about Arika. It seems she lives in the area, but not where she was leaving from. Why would Arika go around places alone like this? Something tells Miku everything isn't as it seems. Unfortunately, we're not going to get answers till we get to the end of the mystery, so as we get to this hidden shop and get a sewing kit, then off we go. Miku finally gets an answer from someone. Oh, that girl, says an elderly person. She comes by asking if we've seen some young man around here, but no, we haven't seen anyone like who she described at all. Arika's looking for a young man? Could it be her stalker? All Miku has at the moment are more questions, but unfortunately, we're not going to get to them, so verbalism. I forgot to, another mistake, I should close this window off. I don't know why it's like that, because you'll notice these windows here, I assume these are kind of indicators that the window is open. I guess the same can be said here, but we'll see what I ultimately do at the end. When Miku returns to the school where Arika is, she nods with her mouth open in an O shape, as if she remembered something. Oh, that's right, she confirms Miku's sighting of her out by the village. I think I know the stalker. He attends my school. There's nothing to worry about. Miku explains that the stalker could still be dangerous even if he's a normal human being, but Arika responds, no, it's okay. He really isn't the sort of person to do anything bad, really. But thank you very much for caring. Miku doesn't feel the same way, but since Arika doesn't want her pursuing the matter, there's not much she can do. Actually, for your trouble, how about you keep the trinket? Arika laughs once. I have no use for it, so maybe you... I have no use for it, so maybe you do. Not can. I just want to put this all behind me. She gives Miku a smile that seems off its normal smile, but her instincts tell her that something isn't right. Could the stalking really be something mundane? No. Miku feels there's more to it, but she'll have to come back to it another day. She can look into the other mysteries while she thinks about it. The trinket she has now seems to tremble, eager to be used, to make hearts. To be continued. But yeah, it's... even saying it right there, you'll notice there's a reason why I go through mysteries myself, and even speaking out loud. I think that was the first time I went through the mystery speaking out loud, because otherwise I would have corrected those typos earlier. Also, there's a pixel missing at the back of Miku's neck here, but yeah. Akamanto or Nails? Probably Nails. So case in point, Nails has, I think it's more like side investigations that happen with the events, but the point is that it has a few events that are specific to Nails, and not like most other mysteries in World of Horror, which are not the case. Also, that's right, I'm on Rash Decisions, but yeah, again, just going through it myself slower this time, just to catch anything. And there were more than a few things I need to correct. The most important being what I want Arika's last name to be. I think I did want to make her Yoshida. I think... Oh, I don't have it. I was going to check somewhere else, but I don't have any other way to check. I am dead here because I took the... Well, one, I took Rash Decisions, and two, I just took a failure from Charisma, because even if we had like 8 Charisma, we would have failed this. So... we can use this heart, but we don't get anything for it, so off I go. I think this time I'm just going to play as Aiko. What I did actually want to just play a base character, but I wanted to see if I could go through with Nurse Miku, and that wasn't the case, so back into the salty run back we go. We'll still play on Rash Decisions, but if nothing else, a testament to Aiko-ness. So, as we get into Gothag, Rash Decisions, and Aiko, we'll take another look at the lighthouse. We should be able to survive, but... we'll see. I can just be me and not. But anyway, knowledge strength, second encounter I saw for sure. We'll switch to the hardware store, but watch me get bored. I'm just going to be very sad. Quick reminder that I could just reroll mysteries, but usually during videos on this channel, or streams really, on World of Horror, I don't reroll mysteries just as a self-house rule. You don't need to do that. Please make it easier on yourself if you're just trying to survive a run. But, yeah, I don't allow myself to do that. So, Valentine's and Valentine's Bulletin Botanist Sailors. So again, get rid of Valentine's first. If I really want to be safe, just go through the mysteries here. You know what, I didn't change the icons yet. That's something I still need to fix, but it's just the icon. In fact, I could just leave it as a heart. So yeah, off we go. But as I try to figure out what I really want to do, we don't have Ward, thankfully, so I can use the hardware store without having to worry about, oh, well, we have a long little ward to go through. It's not a little ward, but so we'll equip the plush toy, get our funds, get a weapon, and off we go. Monkey wrench, good sledgehammer for fun. We are on Rash Decisions, so the accuracy is going to be something to think about. It's been... Have I never seen this fire extinguisher, or is this a new one? The perm items did get updated as well, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, well, hey. But let's find out. Yeah, it's not fast enough. Yeah, it's not fast enough, just outright. Monkey Wrench, but 1 strength, but we're Aiko, so don't really care about the fact that we lose strength. Yeah, let's take the Monkey Wrench, and off we go. Good old Monkey Wrench, it's been a while, but whether or not we can survive is a whole different issue. So again, yeah, I think this is, well, no, Valentine's End has the most character-specific events because you run into Ryosuke, then you run into then you go to Arika's house, then you run into Arika downtown, and then there's the final battle. And then on top of that, having an extra thing anyway. Oh, that's right, we have 50 power here. So I think we're just gonna do a big, strong attack and just be done with it. Unless we just miss. What were the odds of me missing there, by the way? 90%? Come on, game. And by game, I mean me. And by game, I mean World of Horror. And by that, I also mean Panstaz, because... So, let's get our heart, by the way, because this is going to be as easy as we're going to get a heart. Unless you run into something else that you can just one-shot, but that's a different story, isn't it? And that's the other side of using the trinket. Again, I'm allowing you to use the trinket on the same enemy because maybe just one-shot an enemy, so any quote-unquote damage or cost you take from the trinket ends up being a thing. Let's just pick every left decision, by the way, and see if rash decisions works out for me. I'm still trying to decide which is worse, but I guess it really does depend on the events you run into, because you could be playing rash decisions with like little to no custom content, or custom events, so I'm shrugging in real life as I mentioned that. But anywho, also that sound you heard was me stepping. I do like to just keep my foot or both on an acupuncture ball or 2, except that both acupuncture balls are not the same size. So one is obviously smaller and it's much more acupuncture-y, and the other one is larger but has less, but the acupuncture is less, basically. If you want to know more, please feel free to ask me questions, but boy, oh boy. Doesn't hurt or anything, because I think I've been using these acupuncture balls for pretty much like the span of 3 to 5 years now. Shrug. I'm shrugging in real life. That's all I can really say on that matter. If you don't really mind the reason loss for the moment, yeah. Max reason anyway. Especially on Yogatag, who is just going to slap me and lower Doom, but still slap me. But yeah, we can do our best. So, let me cough. Microphone usage. Hey, we have a plush toy. Is this gonna be worth it? -1 stamina? That's as good as I mean, so in my mind, if we're going to rash decisions for a moment, we're thinking about what you would lose on average if you avoid a stat check. So -1 stamina or -1 reason, not both, is usually okay. So, because if you consider the HP-wise, losing 2 stamina or 2 reason is normal for failing a stat check. So therefore, taking -1 all for like refusing here would not be great. And preferably you'd like to succeed, but for trying to take out RNG out of the equation, then yes, you do want to just lose 1 stamina, 1 reason, and better off 1 doom, actually. But again, it still depends on your run, but usually taking 1 doom isn't going to be very painful, as opposed to taking -1 stamina, -1 reason. And again, to reiterate here, the reason for that, also, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm feeling lazy at the moment. The reason for that is that I forgot what I was talking about. I know I was talking about stamina, reason, and doom loss, but forgot the point I was going to make. Also, we can't talk to this phone, I just realized, because we didn't do the side quest. I was autopiloting too much. Goodness. So the other part I could get to is basically the meta part for this channel. So there was something, and it kind of has to do with real life. So I'll mention that quickly just to kind of give you the context, just for about a minute, and then nothing more. I forgot to fill this bottle of water because I'm autopiloting. But essentially, I missed an opportunity. That's the long and short of it. Real life. You make decisions in real life, and whether or not to do things, the first impressions do make a difference. So when you miss an opportunity for the first time, turns out it's a lot less likely to be trusted the second time. Not that I did anything wrong. I basically made a choice between 2 things that I needed to do, and it was much more painful one way than it was the other. Let's just say that much. And yeah. And the kind of, for you, the viewer, to use your critical thinking skills, it comes very simply. If you ask someone to, say, attend a party, or if you expect someone to participate in something, then you're expecting them specifically, and it's not like you invited like 100 people, but this person doesn't show up, how likely are you to invite them to a second time? Now, I did talk it over, so things are okay. I got burned here, by the way. But yeah, it was not great to do. Again, nothing too serious. It's just that I understand that it was not something, and again, it worked out in the end. It's just that I did miss an opportunity. So after talks, basically, all I will say is that everything's fine now, but missing what happened then was not good for me. So that's why, as we move forward here, I did want to deal with. Oh, so we're just dealing with burns. I just realized. Yeah, I'm going to be focusing less on World of Horror, but I will still be trying to do a World of Horror video per day, probably on Perm, just to at least explore more, because, and like, if I were to throw out an idea, I could play every base character with Perm stuff, basically, and that would last me for like a month or two, if previous series weren't anything to go off of. Now, I still will do things here and there, like I'll race horse girls, because those events still happen, but basically I want to move more into putting game dev stuff on this channel as I introduce basically games that I'm developing. That's really the long and short of it. If I were to mention anything else, it's going to be that if I do release, well, not release, but I do make something, it's going to be probably on itch.io, and this will be free because I just want to put something out there just so I can play around with it, and then you can play along with me if you want, and we can talk about things and just basically have fun. But it'll also help me because it can get me in, it'll get me into practice on basically working on game dev cycling things again. Things like, you know, putting out devlogs, putting out notices, doing things regularly, working with my own documentation normally, just developing games in general, making videos about game or the games I'm developing, and basically going through. And I'll mention it here because no one's gonna listen except for robots, really, or and you, the viewer. But when I say this, I mean, oh my goodness, we're taking 4 stamina damage, by the way, because I still have burns. But we're actually gonna brace here, by the way. And then throw out a kick. Hold on, let me focus for a moment. But, okay, so what I want to mention here, because we should get out... Oh, it's not guaranteed. Oh, it is guaranteed. Okay, good. It should be guaranteed unless there's bugs behind using more than 4 attack boosts. But let's get rid of these burns. Is that basically you often don't see a lot of developers really get into the nitty-gritty of basically... Especially if they have like a YouTube channel or if they're doing live streams and stuff. Yeah, they'll play the game once and twice, but really being involved with playing their game over and over and over and over and over again. Because if nothing else, I do believe that helps with kind of just game development in general. I'm just going to say it. And you know, it shouldn't be surprising when I say that just outright, because hey, surprise, surprise, the more you play your own game, you more likely have a better idea of how your game should be developed, especially when, again, if say... we'll speak specifically on YouTube content creation, is that YouTube comments, or maybe you're doing a live stream, when you get active feedback and you're playing your own game, yeah, it can help you basically make better decisions. I'm not going to say every decision is going to be the best, because, for example, say you are doing a live stream of your own game, and then you get a bad piece of advice from someone, say in chat or a comment, and then you're just that things can go wrong. Let's just say that much. But I don't have enough hearts, so I have to actually grind for hearts here because I completely forgot to do so. But as long as we get lucky, we should be fine. I guess we're gonna find out though. So we have 3 hearts. We can fight the boss like this. Do I want to? No. So we're going to continue grinding for hearts. We will succeed. So a little bit of the gaming on Arika Strange Trinket is that you're going to lose 1 stamina or 1 reason. But if you already failed once and you have, say, 2 stamina or 2 reason left, you don't have to worry about game overing due to losing stamina or reason, because, hey, surprise, surprise, you're not going to fail more than once, basically. And we can do Desperate Prep strong here. So real tactical action, except for the fact that I can miss this here, 80%. Please don't miss. Okay, good. But aside from that, as we also should probably equip the ritual mask, is that, yeah, you know, using the strange trinket there is some RNG, but it still can be strategically planned around. Now again, whether or not it's the most, it's the best or not, we'll see. That gives me nothing, by the way. Also, we're in a thing. I probably should have grinded for more. Actually, oh wait, we can't discard the trinket. We'll discard the handcuffs then, because we don't know if we're on timeline B of Seaside here. Seaside? I'm going crazy. Sailors. Let's also level up here, and then we don't need the strange trinket. So again, I thankfully allowed you to store it, because otherwise how are you going to hold 4 hearts? Again, characters like Toshiaki don't have more than 3 things, but they have... Toshiaki is Toshiaki. Like, you shouldn't need to worry as much. But I guess it'll be until I actually play as Toshiaki and find out. But hey, let's try and survive. Please don't lose stamina here and game me over. I'm gonna be so sad. Okay, good. We have 1 more investigation to go through because I wasn't reading the vanity text correctly to see where I was at or counting. But as we get to the beach here. I think we're on timeline A because, yeah, we didn't get a torch. So, off we go. We get a thorough investigation, but we're kind of hurt at the moment, so we'll do our best. So, there are ways to lose reason. Actually, let's play it safe here and go to the custom mystery board and take the vilified verbalism of vouching Valentine's End, or part 2. So, Miku looked a bit into the trinket Arika gave her a while back. However, she wasn't able to find any information on it or where it came from. Even the local occult shop, in all caps, had little to give other than it came from overseas. Still, that didn't deter her from trying to find out more. On top of that, Miku doesn't see any traces of Arika in school lately. Could something have gone wrong? She told Miku not to worry, but now she's certain something wasn't right. As Miku makes for the school to get some answers, she notices someone following her. It wouldn't be too strange from the abnormal, but she notices that her follower isn't the best at staying hidden. Add a word, Jordan. She has a distinct feeling that this person could be Arika's stalker. Miku senses the stalker following and watching her every move. It appears to be a young man, a regular human. He ducks behind a building when she turns her head in his direction. Miku decides to go somewhere isolated so she can confront him. Maybe she'll finally get to ask him about Arika and why he's stalking her. So again, I mentioned last episode, but we can show it here. So Yogatag does cover the text from the bottom, like 2-3 lines at the bottom of this box. You can just hover over the side quest and take that away. That's why I'm not really going to be changing the text. I'm sure in real life, that's not really much else to say. So, Miku finds a place to hide. A moment later, she steps out in front of him as he the stalker as he approaches. "Oh, you surprised me." Miku demands to know why he's been following her, and he responds, "I've seen what you've been doing in Shiokawa lately. I figured I'd come clean about what's been going on with Yoshida-san." So I did call her Yoshida-san. Although I think I call her Fukuda-san at the end too. So I really need to fix that. But anywho. I get it. I've heard the rumors about me. His voice lowers as Miku becomes skeptical, and he takes a quick look around. The truth is, I was following Yoshida-san because, well, I started to worry. When Miku gives him another skeptical look, he goes on. Did she have a small trinket with her? A fist-sized octopus-looking accessory? I happened to see Yoshida-san with it a while back. I think it's a dangerous item. Oh, and so yeah, Fukuda is Ryosuke's last name, not Arika's last name. Why did I confuse that? Maybe because it doesn't make sense that I used Fukuda in the first part of Valentine's before I decided on Ryosuke. Well, I mean, I did decide on Ryosuke's name. Basically, typos. But I'm Ryosuke Fukuda. My classroom is actually next to Yoshida-san's. But after the rumors about me being a stalker surfaced, he trails off, ashamed. She actually confessed to me in the past. A year ago, she sent me a letter expressing her feelings, but I never responded. In fact, I began avoiding her. It's not like we knew each other, but I felt bad about it. I still do. By the time I mustered the courage to try and speak with her, she had stopped talking with all of her friends and acquaintances. It was only when she said someone was stalking her that she became lively again. Ryosuke takes a long breath outward. That was when I looked into that trinket. It's apparently some ancient deity's relic. I don't know what it does, but it's supposed to grant some incredible power. I wanted to warn Yoshida-san, but all I did was watch her from afar. If you don't believe me, then at least help me try and find her. For the last week, she's actually disappeared from school entirely. I think something really bad happened to her. He sounds sincere, and come to think of it, Miku hasn't seen Arika around the school lately either. It's not like she was actively looking for her all the time, but what should Miku do? She's gonna help him out. Rash decisions, by the way. I'm pretty sure rash decisions. I could try it out and see if it procs in the next event. But Miku offers to help look for Arika. "Thank you." His mouth forms a light smile of relief, but he quickly frowns afterward. "I'm afraid we don't have much time, though. If possible, I'd like us to check Yoshida-san's house and see if she's home. If she's not," he trails off. They both decide to head towards Arika's house as soon as possible. Arika lives away on the outskirts of Shiokawa, so the next place to go would be there. Meanwhile, Ryosuke sent Miku whatever information he obtained from researching the trinket. She has no way of verifying the information with any channel she knows of. There's nothing to be done but to find Arika and ask. Also, I need to rest here because I can't just take a bunch of damage and lose the run. So, I do help. I don't remember my second encounter either. So we'll approach the front door and normally see if I fail this. Yeah, okay, we do trigger impulse, by the way. I didn't read the text, but I think it should be fine. We're not Miku, we're Aiko. Aiko waits at the front door, and a woman she assumes is Arika's mother answers. "Have you seen her? She hasn't been home in a week." Aiko doesn't get any clues, but she's able to calm down the worried mother. Ryosuke finds Aiko some distance away. "I can't approach without someone getting too suspicious. What did you find out?" After telling him what Aiko knows, he clicks his tongue. "This isn't good, but thanks to your efforts, I managed to find out Arika went to the mansion regularly. We should continue from there. Whatever the case, Aiko needs to follow Arika's last known location. What business could she have in that mansion? Ryosuke seems nervous. And basically the implied thing is that the mansion was basically... Because at this point you should kind of realize that Arika is not herself. So Arika, or whatever is Arika, the deity by the way, went to the mansion to kind of just look into basically the relic and make sure that the relic has no... Basically the deity was doing their own research. Shrug, that's all I have to say at the moment. So we could throw that army knife at an encounter. I guess we'll save it here. I should be able to respond before we get into the thingamajiggy. I could also just use the army knife, but 585, 70, 580, 65. So just a bit slower, but as much it doesn't matter. Actually, no, monkey wrench, because the strength is actually going to make a difference. So Aiko doesn't get much more than a passing mention of Arika, who those at the mansion described as a strange, creepy girl. Actually, the deity at this point. Again, that's why I kind of get the implied thing. She's a withdrawn person, Ryosuke says, but the way they described her, that's really not like her at all, which kind of runs counter, sounds counter to what Ryosuke said, that she was more lively, but that's really lively in the way that, hey, she's acting as herself. Then it seems Aiko has even less time to find her before something bad happens. But on to the seaside we go. The seaside investigation is just adding more seaside investigations. I'm not going to try and pretend like it's anything else. What is my accuracy, by the way? 80? Okay, good. Let's go for it. My voice! By the way, we are just taking 3 stamina in the face, and pain happens, so yeah. But we should be out here. I'm going to tree for stamina, by the way. Yeah, I'm going to tree for stamina. At least we can get to the end of the mystery. Now, whether or not we'll survive the run is a completely different story. Passersby, is that the correct word, by the way? I forgot to check this up. A mention of a girl who stood at the seaside for a long period of time before wandering off. A few children even described that she looked very off, muttering to herself and walking with slow, stuttering steps. Aiko and Ryosuke don't say more. They trace Arika's steps back to the school. So yeah, at this point, Arika's in full control of the deity. At certain moments, Arika might have control, but usually no. So actually, we're going to visit the vending machine really quickly and grab a pack of cigarettes. And if we run out of funds, we are going to trade off our reason. Because at this point, again, the boss should be a non-issue. It's anything else that happens. Arika-san, she was acting really weird. One of her classmates turned to another. We didn't know if she was okay, but she disappeared before we could get a teacher. Ryosuke waves Aiko over to him by the school gates, panting. I saw her. She was headed downtown. The two of them chase after Arika, following the trail of confused people who saw her pass by. Also, really funny enough, coincidental design here is that the box does thankfully disappear if you want the mouse to follow over, so. But off to the downtown we go. You got that getting furious, but we have other deities to worry about. As we enter the voracious Valentine event. After searching enough, by the way, get rid of this word, Jordan, Ryosuke to start sweating, Aiko finally spots Arika. As the two of them approach, Arika turns around with an unnerving slowness. Oh, it's you, and Ryosuke, proceed. Yoshida-san, Ryosuke ignores the casual speak from Arika. There's something wrong, isn't there? Come back with us. Aiko wants to warn Ryosuke that something seems off, but Arika answers before she can say anything. Ryosuke Arika calls out a little too closely, almost seductively. Did you know how much you hurt me? Of course, it wasn't really your problem, but the pain wouldn't just go away. Yoshida-san. Ryosuke sounds at a loss as to what he should do. Something definitely seems off about Arika, though, but what should you do? Calm Arika down, because we have more stamina to lose than we do reason. We roll a 12, by the way, so that's really funny. But Aiko tries to reason with Arika, but she throws her a glare instead. And what do you have to do with this? Are you trying to pity her? Don't get cocky. Her eyes seem to flash with a dangerous light. No, her eyes are actually changing. Choshi ni Norina. Suddenly, as the art changes and Arika's body begins to shift, I should actually use the Roman numerals here, but it's too late. Arika's aura seems to change, and something flesh-like and long sprouts from her back. Yoshida-san, what is that? I should also add white pixels here, but I think it's fine. Ryosuke stares in fear. Arika cackles to herself. No, this is enough. This much is enough. There's no need to go on like this any longer. Her eyes change into something inhuman as she grins at the two of them. Arika Yoshida, what a sad little tragedy. I've finally escaped that damn trinket. It's time to take everything back. Laughing, she swings her limbs around and screams resound as she leaps off too fast for them to follow. Aiko has to stop her, or whatever is inside of her. As everyone around them screams and panics, Ryosuke takes a few quick, deep breaths. I'm okay, let's go. The two of them hurry, but the previous trail soon ends. It seems like they'll have to find out where she went by investigating the seaside one extra time. Don't doom me out, please, game. I would like that to not happen. That hurts too, but we can fight this boss. It's fine. Aiko gets an eyewitness who tells her where Aika Rich. She was last spotted at a specific spot on the seaside. She has a bad feeling about this. Maybe we should make sure that we're prepared, which means we need to take out all of our Valentine's heart and moves on. smoke a cigarette, go on our way, and we should be fine. Vilification. Aiko and Ryosuke reach Arika, who stands facing the sea. Around her are 2 fallen police officers dead. Yoshida-san, no. Ryosuke takes a nervous but forced step forward. Whatever you are, you better leave Yoshida-san now. The monster posing as Arika leans its head while turning it over her shoulder, an insult of a smile on its face. So yeah, it's her shoulder, but it is doing the turning. Leave, leave, that's what you should do. I don't have any quarrel with you two. It flexes its appendages menacingly. In fact, I should thank you both. You've given me a new body. But that's it, I don't owe you a thing. In fact, this foolish girl gave herself to me of her own free will, and neither of you have any connections with her, so if you leave now, I'll show you mercy and won't pursue you. I've grown quite bored with this town, and I'd like to leave now. To Aiko's side, Ryosuke exhales with frustration. So it was, again, little non-spoken lore, but yes, it's the usual trope of while Ariko did want basically Ryosuke's affection, it was of her free will, but she did not ask for her body to be taken over by this deity thing. Aiko makes it apparent that no one will be leaving, and Ryosuke nods with her. Return Yoshida-san to normal right now, but the now giggling monster laughs harder. A hand on Arika's face, one eye visible through her fingers. Aiko prepares herself for the inevitable as something changed. And yeah, the boss changes too, because you'll notice that the ooze was not that far on her face, but as we get into the battle, yeah, it changes. Return her to normal, don't get full of yourself, human. Choshi ni norona! The flesh-like growth envelops Arika's body. If it weren't for that relic, I would have had to waste my time for so long. But I have nothing to fear now that I'm free, and you won't stop me! Rawr! So yeah. And also I used an O here when it should just be you if her name was Fukuda, but it's not. It's Yoshida. So whoopsie doopsie. But yeah, 107 HP on your last mystery, barring any weird things happening. Also, we're gonna doom out at the end, but at least I did the mystery proper. And 7 HP. So I actually wanted to make it 8 HP, but I've decided, hey, if you're using something that grants you 7 HP, I'm not going to penalize you too much. That being said, because it's also a desperate struggle, but it's too far now. Something I could have also done was give out specific dialogue when you use the hearts, but I was feeling particularly lazy. So Aiko closes her eyes and catches her breath as she hears an inhuman cry. So you notice that this text doesn't really change between ending A and ending B, which means that I did have to come up with something that kind of applies in both circumstances. I'm sure there's a way to make it change in both cases, but again, I think there can be innovation and limitation, basically. And the limitation being here that if you put the wrong text here, say for ending A, and suddenly you're ending B, it's not going to make sense. I'll explain that really quickly, I might as well. So for ending A, obviously you defeat the creature. But if you put like, hey, you defeat the creature and she's on the ground, but you're in ending B, it'll show that same text, but you're in ending B, so it won't make sense, basically. But anyway, the end of the villainous verbalism. Ryosuke runs over to the fallen Arika and lifts her upper body. Fukuda-kun. Arika opens her eyes weakly. Ryosuke's mouth trembles as he starts to cry. Okay, I didn't get the name wrong. You're okay. Haha, I didn't know you could be so expressive. What are you talking about? Of course I'd be worried about you. Arika manages to smile. That's why I started having feelings for you since the first day I saw you. But, she bites her lip, then I did all of this. I'm so sorry. Aiko places a hand on Ryosuke's shoulder. More police officers will be coming soon. He nods. You're right, we should get out of here first. After the two of them escape some distance away, Arika looks over at Aiko. Thank you. If you and Ryosuke hadn't come to look for me, we did. Ryosuke keeps his fist closed as he carries Arika in his arms. I heard that's a gentlemanly way to carry people, so because you're not actually touching them. So hey, don't worry about it. Let's go tell your mom and dad that you're okay. Aiko looks over at them as Arika huddles closer to Ryosuke's chest. Her expression maintains a detached, cool exterior, but her blush is by no means either. Ryosuke clears his throat as the adrenaline rush fades. He turns to you. Or it turns to Aiko. Fukuda-san, Yoshida-san, already said so, but thank you. We'll never forget what you did. So as the typos finally cease, hopefully, the very horrifying tragedy was avoided. You don't need to add very here, but I tried to stick with the kind of the alliteration of the letter V here. Ryosuke and Arika see Aiko off, but both are eager to meet her again after the world is saved. If the world is saved, it's not. We're at 99% doom. Aiko wishes the best for Arika and Ryosuke as she goes on to finish her own investigation, which is not going to finish because, again, we don't have enough Doom to complete the run successfully, so whoopsie doopsie, hidden bad end. But as I end this video, yeah, not really much else to say at the moment. This should kind of be a good closure to this custom content, and not really much else to say because it doesn't matter what my lighthouse checks are when we're going to lose the moment we reach the next floor. So without further ado, I guess I'll just see you later as soon as we don't even survive this. So we're gonna stamina loss as the world dooms to an end. I'll see you later.